give you a quick and not too professional tour, not too quick, not too professional, of RStudio, both in the cloud and on your desktop. Our course, Math 225. You can get to our resources on any page here. The book, the solutions manual. The solutions manual does leave some things to be desired. We'll talk about that later. But you can download R and RStudio, or you can create an account at RStudio Cloud. Let's just open this up. RStudio Cloud does leave some things to be desired. Depending on the internet connection is not excellent. The limited amount of space and time you get here for free is not excellent, but it works for quick demonstrations. We could talk more about workspace content and projects later, but I'll just open up an instance of R here. Main issue with this that I have is that it goes to sleep quickly if I'm not constantly working on it. But here's an instance of R, just like you would see it in your desktop version. The windows here, the console, the script window, upper left, the environment window, upper right, where you have variables and history, and the lower right-hand pane, the help menu, where you can look for documentation, you can look at packages installed, you can look at the plots you create, or the files that you're working with in the cloud. So let's just say I wanted to load a library, like the tidyverse. Notice the auto-completion. Working at the command line is certainly possible. It's just not extremely forgiving. It's much nicer to work in a script window, and we'll show you sophisticated things you can do with a script window. But let's load a library like the Palmer Penguins. Now here, to execute this command at the console, I have to hit Command Return on my Mac, or maybe Shift Return on your PC. Depends on what your documentation tells you. But when I hit Command Return on my Macintosh, this gets transferred to the console window, and the Palmer Penguins library is loaded. I can always check what packages are loaded in the Packages window. The Tidyverse is loaded. The Palmer Penguins is loaded. In Chapter 1, they also asked us to load GG themes, and you can load things here just by checking this box. Notice when I check this box, the console will say Library GG themes, and that's loaded. Now I can work at the script level. Let's create a simple plot like ggplot, and let's use the data, which is the penguins, and let's map some aesthetics to X and Y, such as flipper length, maybe auto-completion. I don't know the names of all the variables in penguins by heart, but the auto-completion tells me what's available, and body mass perhaps. Okay, good. And we add a layer of geom points, geom point, and this is enough for a simple graph. Command return, there's the graph showing up in the plots window. If I modify this, let's say I could modify it at two different levels here, but let's say color equals species, shape equals species. Then I can re-execute this line of code without typing the whole thing over again. That's the power of not working on the command line. And, oops, I have an error, so let's work this out. Species should work for this. I think I've misplaced it. Let me organize my command. and put it here in the aesthetics window, and the aesthetics command here. Take the color and species. I should have had them inside an aesthetics specification. And this will do much better. Oh, species not found. Okay, I did not take them out of here. This is the thing that's going to happen to you. You're going to be misplacing things. You're going to be putting things in the wrong place or in the wrong conditions. I could explain this there a little more fully, but this is a good demonstration. Notice the script window right here I can save. And I'll save this to the cloud. Let's call this video example. R script. And let's put it inside the R for data science folder that I have. I'll save it here. And then when I look in my file folders, I see R for data science. I've previously created this folder, and now I have this script file saved. I can return to it sometime. I can look at textbook chapters. Reading the book, I've practiced typing the commands in the book. And having a script file is a great way to have a record of what you've done. So from the first chapter where we talked about data visualization, here's the things that we did with the penguins. From the third chapter, data transformation. Now notice I'm using some commenting in my script right here. Environment variable history keeps track of everything I've typed. The variables that I was using earlier, perhaps when I was looking at the diamonds data frame. So here's a good example of how to use RStudio Cloud. Notice how I'm using some of my resources, and I have limited resources. That's one reason I'm not crazy about the cloud. Let me open a desktop instance just to show you that it's the same environment. Here I'm in the same space, but now I'm on my desktop. I have a lot more control over what I'm doing. Just checking the things that I've installed. I can open up some of the files that I was working on. I keep them on my own computer. Let's look at this data transformations. Notice I can also, with comments, make a script file have a structure. So we're going to do a lot with script files later, but first think of it as a place where you can save your work, where you can keep a record without having to do everything at the kind of unforgiving command line. So do a little calculation with the flights, filter it, and group by year, month, day. This is chapter 3 stuff. Don't worry about it right now. See the history that I've used so far in this session. Notice I also have a terminal where I can review what's inside my computer. I'm actually on my computer right here. I can exit the terminal, but sometimes terminal commands are helpful. I can go back to the console. When I want to quit, I can just type Q or quit as a function and then hit return, and that session is over with. Things saved that I saved. I know this is too short to be meaningful or useful right now, but this is a good, quick introduction to RStudio, and you'll learn more about all these panes as we go on. Let me know if I can answer any other questions.